Next, let's look at codominance. Remember that co means together, and that is exactly what this is. So you see both traits together. You see them fully and separately. So instead of putting white and red together and getting something in between, an incomplete dominance, we got pink. Here, when we put a red allele and a white allele together, we get red and we get white. We don't get anything between, but we get both. So examples are flowers. We're going to talk about how blood type is a codominant trait. So you can have an A allele or a B allele or an A and a B allele. That's how you get to be type B. Blood type is also an example of multiple alleles, which I'm going to talk about more in another video. Here we'll just talk about blood types. So let's do some practice with codominance. So for example here, horses can be gray or they can be white. So here, guys, see how we are using different letters. Since both of these are codominant, you're going to see both. Some people use different letters for incomplete dominance too. And that is okay, just as long as you're clear that it's incomplete dominance. So you can have a gray allele and have two gray alleles. You're going to be gray. If you have white, if you're homozygous for white, of course you're going to be white. But if you are heterozygous, then you get this really pretty Appaloosa phenotype where you are spotted. So if we cross a white horse with an Appaloosa horse, the white horse would have to be homozygous, and the Appaloosa horse is going to have one gray and one white. And so when we go ahead and we do that cross, remember that the white parent can only give this white allele, so I'm only going to draw it once. But the Appaloosa horse can either give a gray or a white. So when we combine the G and the W, we're going to get an Appaloosa horse. And here where we combine the white and the white, we're going to get a white horse. So notice we have one heterozygote to one homozygous white. And we also have one Appaloosa to one white horse. So again, in codominance, our genotype ratio and our genotype ratio are going to be the same. So you guys take a turn, hit the pause and try to do this one. So when cows, you can be red, you can be white, or you can be roan. If you're heterozygous and you have both a red and white, then you see both the red and white. So go ahead and pause and try to do this one on your own. Okay, so this is my red. Remember, if you have two reds, that's the only thing you can give. You really only have to do one column because it's the only possibility. Or if I'm roan, I'd have one of each. So these are my two possible gametes. So here I would get one homozygous red to one heterozygote. And that means I'd have one red to one roan. So if I was going to write that in percentages, it would be 50% and 50%. Okay, let's try another one. Here, we'll talk about curly hair. I love that someone mentioned the other day that you can have something that's in between. This is codominance. So, oh, I'm so sorry. That's incomplete dominance. So let's try another one. So I said that blood type is both codominant and multiple alleles. When I say multiple alleles, it means that there are more than two alleles. So I can have an A allele, I can have a B allele, or I can have an O allele. And we show the O with a lowercase I because it is recessive to A and B. And the reason is that really what we're talking about is that red blood cells or blood cells in your body, they can have proteins on the surface, and that's what the A and B are referring to. So if I'm type A, the A allele makes an A protein on the surface. If I have type B, then I make a type B protein on the surface. And if I have an A allele and a B allele, then I'm going to have an A and a B on the surface. So that's how I end up being type A, type B, or type AB. So since O, though, O doesn't make any protein. So if I am an O, if I am homozygous for O, then I don't have any protein. So that means that O is a universal donor, because since they don't have any proteins, they can donate AB to B or A, and they won't recognize anything foreign. On the other hand, type AB, who has an A protein and a B protein, can receive anybody's blood because they have all their proteins. A can give to them, B can give to them. Other type Bs, O, because they aren't giving you any protein, so they're not recognizing anything foreign. So sometimes we say that they're their universal acceptor. They can take any kind of blood. All right, so also you'll notice here, guys, that I can be heterozygous for A. So if I have an A allele, I'm going to make an A on the surface, and the O allele doesn't make anything, so it ends up being recessive because I don't have that A protein. I'll have the A phenotype. So let's go ahead and do a practice problem with blood type. So if I have a mother that has type AB blood and a father that has type B, well, for mom, it's super easy because she's going to be able to give either an A allele or a B allele. Let me make that a little bit cleaner. So she can give an A or a B. Dad being type B, though, we don't know if he's homozygous for B or if he has a B allele and an O allele. So that is why I have two punnets here. So this punnet is to show me what would happen if he's homozygous. In that case, the only possibility is sperm with B in it. So in that scenario, this combination would give you type AB, and this combination would give you type B. In this scenario, mom again is AB, dad could give us a B, or he could give us an O allele. So when we go to combine those, this baby would be type AB, this baby would be type B, this baby could be type A, and this baby would be type B. So if it's asking for all of the possible blood types, we of course have AB. Both Punnett squares give us that. We have type B. Both Punnett squares give us that. And the second example here, though, we can also have type A. Notice that there's no possible way that you could get a type O baby in this scenario. All right, so let's do a fun one. So we had a hospital mix-up here. So we have 3 babies, but we don't know which parents they belong to. Fortunately, we know the blood types of baby 1, 2, and 3, and we know the parents' genotypes. So we're going to go ahead and figure out what the possible blood types would be for each one of these sets of parents. So I'll start with Mr. and Mrs. Allele up here as an example, and then I'm going to have you guys try this on your own. So Mr. and Mrs. Allele have type AB and type AB. So she has AB and he has AB. So if their A alleles combined, they would have a homozygous A, so type A. Here, this baby would be type AB, this baby would be type AB, and this baby would be type B. So we already know that that their baby has to be baby 2. Notice that? So their baby has to be baby 2 because they can't have a baby with type O. There's no O possibility here, and there's no A I totally did that wrong. Okay. So we know that already that Mr. and Mrs. Allele could not have type baby 1. They could have baby 2 or baby 3 because they can have a baby with type A or they can have AB. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and you guys should go ahead and try to figure out for the other 2 parents what blood types their babies could have. Okay, let's see how you did. So here, for the parent that was Mr. and Mrs. DNA, had type O. So this is across the top. and type AB across the side. So they could have babies that are type A or type B. And then Mr. and Mrs. Jean, we don't know if the type B person is homozygous, so that's this Punnett square, or if they're heterozygous, that'd be this one. For the homozygous, the only possibility is to have a baby with type B, and we don't have any babies with type B, so that can't be the case. So then in this case, they could have a baby with type B or type O. So let's go through and see. So they are the only people who can have a baby with type O. So they must have baby 1, right? So that takes out baby 1. So then our next two choices are type AB for baby 2 or type A for baby 3. Well, Mr. and Mrs. DNA can't have a AB baby. So this one has to be baby 2. And this one has to be baby 3. Blood types aren't the only traits that have multiple alleles. There are lots and lots of other traits that are that way. So the next one we're going to look at is for color in rabbits. So for rabbits, oh, it's not going for me. So in the case of rabbits, we can have full color, and in the case of rabbits, the allele for full color is dominant to all of the other alleles. But then there are 3 other alleles that are recessive. So there's a chinchilla allele that has a partial defect in the pigmentation. There's a Himalayan. In the Himalayan, you have color in certain body parts, but not others. Then you get these spotted guys, right? And then the albino, of course, we've already talked about, means that there's a mutation that causes you not to have color, so no color at all. So this is an albino right here with the red eye. So these guys would be examples of full color. This one is chinchilla where it's spotted. This one is Himalayan, and this is albino. Okay, so if we cross a dark gray rabbit that has this genotype with a Himalayan rabbit that has just genotype, what would we get? I'm going to pause and give you guys a chance to work this out. Okay, so really it's a simple Punnett square. It's just about being able to interpret what we've got here. So I'm going to go in and mark all of my guys that are full color. That's anything that has a dominant allele. So both of these guys have a dominant allele, so they'll both have full color. Then what about my chinchilla? So chinchilla is any combination of this chinchilla allele with either the Himalayan allele or the albino one. So this guy would have the chinchillan. And then finally here where I have a, I have one that has the chinchilla and an albino. It's telling us here that that one would be Himalayan, right? So that one would instead be Himalayan here. So that would mean that we would have 2 full color to 1 chinchilla to 1 Himalayan and 0 albino.